I guess. So I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:33 p.m. Everybody, welcome to City Island Rising. For those of you who don't know, my name is John Doyle. It should be on the screen. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We have a full agenda that we're going to get to. And then most importantly is the end, where we hear everybody's comments, ideas, things they want to talk about in the neighborhood. I know a few of you have already messaged me or emailed me, so I've put them at the bottom end of this agenda, which I'm going to share into the chat in just 2 seconds. Let me find the best way of doing that. But I guess first off, we're going to actually start, Beverly, if that's okay, we're going to start with you and your report because Kim is just about to get on.
Sure. So from the Secretary's side, not much of a report. Just another reminder that elections are coming up. One of the founding principles of the Rising organization is that if the only people that are speaking on behalf of the organization are the same people every single time, then we're not doing our job. We want to very much invite new voices to join us on the board. So if you are interested, please don't hesitate to send me a message, or you can chat me on the side. If we've had a couple talented candidates already raise their hands and wish to join us. So if you want to join them in joining us, please let me know, and we'll consider candidacies for election in April. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, just to reiterate what Beverly said, 100%, we want more people, different ideas, fresh, exchange. And again, ideally, a lot of the work that happens before the meetings is done via our steering committee, our board meetings, other actors who we're going to get into here, who have been doing a really fantastic job. So the more and more people we have, the less work it is for everybody, and the more fun it is because we're all going to be sharing a lot. I'm adding into the chat our agenda now, so everyone can kind of follow along, which is very important. I see that Kim, are you on right now, or are you still getting connected? Okay, well, we'll work that one out. So I'm going to keep going here on a few different things that are happening in the neighborhood. The first thing is we did our blood drive, and for those of you who participated, I just want to thank you. The blood drive was very successful. I believe we had almost 40 people again who were involved in the blood drive, who obviously did their part. There is still an enormous blood shortage in the city, particularly now with COVID and everything going on. So we're probably going to do another one by late March, early April. So we definitely need you guys to, continue to give blood and continue to give back, as I know so many of you are doing. That is super important. I would say some other things that are going on right now is that with David Diaz, who's a board member, we just applied. The Bronx is having a Bronx County Relief Grant. So we applied for the full amount, which is $30,000. We'll see if we get it. We may get less. We may not get anything. But we put our heads together and spent the better part of 2 afternoons getting together all the data that's required for that grant. And something that stuck out to the two of us when we were doing it is pre-pandemic, the unemployment rate in City Island was very, very low. And just so you all understand, we were looking at a 3.1% unemployment rate within our community of 10464. Our whole community is only one census tract, so it's actually pretty easy to find this stuff. Last month, it was 12.9. So just, keep that in mind in your interactions with your friends and your neighbors here, is that a lot of people are going through some very difficult times, and people are in need who have never been in need before. And this is not your typical recession. And just, let's all continue. And we're going to get into all the people on City Island who are giving back and doing so many amazing things. And, we couldn't do anything without them, and I'm very grateful to them. But let's also keep in mind we've still so much of a long way to go, I guess is the point I'm trying to emphasize there. But again, a lot of people are in need, and we should do everything we can to help those people and to make sure they are taken care of as best they can. And I know a lot of people on this call, just looking at faces and looking at the people signing in, are those people who give back and make that happen. And thank you for doing that. And a lot of you do it without any sort of fanfare or necessity. And we really appreciate it. In keeping with that, we still have our masks and face shields that we have. You can get face shields, by the way. They're available at 239 Play, which is Dan Treiber's shop and Raina's shop. They're also available at Clipper Coffee. So if you need face shields, this is the big one that looks like this. You can just go in there. They're free of charge. We are asking for people to give us their email addresses. Just that way we're able to keep in touch with you if any other aid or general stuff comes back. We also got in our tote bags. There's a photo of them on the social media accounts we have. We're selling them for $10 a tote bag. So if you'd like a tote bag, message myself, message Kim, message Beverly, message anyone, and we will get you your tote bag in due time, very quickly, because we just want to get them out there. And it's a nice symbol of solidarity. And Louisa has them too. I'm sorry, Louisa. Louisa has them as well. So we're going to continue to give those out. And it's nice to have a presence in the community. And again, it might trigger people that what is City Island Rising? And then you get to be our brand ambassador in a sense, which is fun. I wanted to keep people updated. This weekend, I know some people have a concern with the restaurants reopening, which we're all grateful for. I know people have to, livelihoods are at stake here. Some people had voiced concern about, the fact that everybody's been kind of cooped up in their homes for almost 3 months, that there might be some mad dash on the restaurants, even with limited capacity. I spoke to the new commanding officer, and he is informed of the 45th precinct, and he's informed us that there's going to be a good possession of police. I think it's like 3 units, 24 officers over the weekend. So this is one of those that they can actually plan for because there's not a lot of competing events, either Yankee Stadium or otherwise. So we should be, it should be okay for everybody. And we also are very fortunate, and I know Kim is getting on, but I want to thank her. So hopefully she can watch this either right on now or watch it in the YouTube later. Kim was very helpful in getting us the movie that filmed City on a Hill, or the TV show, I guess it is. They made a very generous donation to City Island Rising, which is helping fund a lot of our operational costs. So I want to give them a quick shout out and thank them, and just make sure you all know that I understand sometimes it's cumbersome with all the filming, but this was a production that gave back to the community, and we are putting that to work in a variety of ways. Obviously, not just the tote bags, but general insurance, as well as supporting the donation efforts that are afoot right now. We also did through the precinct council, we also had a Narcan training on Monday. 10 people participated, not as many from City Island, but that's fine. We had a City Island based one a few months ago. Keep in mind, and again, it's the Narcan or the opioid epidemic overall is a public health issue more than it is a criminal justice issue, because people need help. But the precinct did share that already this year, 6 people have overdosed within the precinct overall. 5 of those, unfortunately, were fatal. And we are still in the top 10 geographic areas in the overall precinct and surrounding area as well of accidental opioid overdoses. So this is still something that our friends and our neighbors are grappling with. And everybody has that City Island story of someone they knew who is maybe even still struggling. Help is available. And if we can be of assistance pairing someone up with the assistance they need, please let us know. And obviously we'll keep that in confidence. I'm also in discussions with the Department of Health, to make sure that local pharmacies have the Narcan free of charge. So working on that, but we do have Narcan. If you are in need of that and you've already been trained, email us at cityislandrising@gmail.com. or yeah, just give me a call, let me know. But we will get you the kit. You do need to get a training, but we can set you up with the trainer. He's great. It's super easy. In 30 minutes, you learn how to save a life. That covers pretty much everything in my, oh, one other thing. It may have happened today. I came over the bridge about 20 minutes ago, so it was dark. I was looking. The boat may have already been removed, but it may not be. But I was informed by the mayor's office through the council, Councilmember Gjonaj and obviously Councilmember Vaca preceding him. They fund through the Parks Department the removal of these boats. There was a special on News 12, and that's one of the boats that's supposed to be removed. So we are in discussion with our state legislators about a more holistic approach, because unfortunately, if these boats are not in navigational channels, they're not subject to the Coast Guard. And if they're not really causing, there's not a lot of oversight as to these boats. So we're trying to work on a more holistic solution. But again, we're dealing with it piecemeal right now, and hopefully we get there. And that two last things is we are doing 2 roundtables. And part of the reason we started this group is to broaden the voices that are speaking for City Island. And so we want as many people from these groups. If you're interested in these subjects, to please reach out to me, Beverly, Kim, Louisa, Dan, David, everybody. We have 2 roundtables we're going to be doing. One is Community Organizations Active in Disaster. It's called a COAD. We had pitched this earlier, during the pandemic. We didn't get kind of a crazy response to it, but we're going to do it now. We have a few groups available. So if you were interested in being a part of a Community Organizations Active in Disaster group, which is done through the Department of Health, please let me know. And then the second thing is the mayor's office has reached out. They want to hold a roundtable with their climate action group. So we want to kind of get everything into the hopper on climate as soon as possible. So that way we are working, as we transition over to a new mayoral administration, that City Island's needs on climate are well documented and known. So if you're interested in either of those 2 things, we need you. Please, please, please reach out to us. We want many different voices, not just the same people on all these different calls. Thank you so very much. And with that, Louisa, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. So just want to let you know about 2 things we're doing. So the first thing is the City Island Rising Walking Group, and this was a fantastic idea made by Beverly, who's been instrumental in it. And essentially, it's a walking group for us to do monthly on the first Saturday. So we hosted our first one last Saturday, and it was great. There was 8 of us. It was this nice small group. Of course, we maintained social distance, wore our masks the whole time, and you have to sign a waiver. But it's a really great time, and we all know how important it is to get outside, especially during these tough times. But like I mentioned, we're doing this monthly. So the next time we're doing it is Saturday, March 6th at 2 p.m. If for whatever reason, like weather, permitting, if it doesn't work out, we'll be walking the next day. So it would be Sunday, March 7th at 2 p.m. So if you're not busy, come join us. We'll have a good time. And
it's only about 30 to 45 minutes, and people of all abilities are welcome. So, like this past Saturday, we chose our route to avoid ice, and had a nice little look at the water down at Belden Point. It was a lovely time. So please come out and join us. It's not a competitive atmosphere. It's really just so folks can get some fresh air, a little exercise, and some camaraderie as well.
And memories that we will cherish for the rest of our lives. And I guess I'll go straight into the second thing, which is ranked choice voting. I'm sure everyone's heard about it. Back in 2019, we all voted on it, and we said in New York City, we want ranked choice voting. Well, now it's 2021, and this year those elections will be doing this new way of voting. There's a lot of mystery to it. It already happened once in a special election in Queens, which didn't really show us how it was meant to be used, really. But I'm sure a lot of us have a lot of questions about it. I mean, it could sound like very straight to you're ranking your choices, but we're going to have an information session. The Campaign Finance Board is going to conduct an info session on Tuesday, February 16th. I'm saying the 16th, but I'm not confident it's that date. It is Tuesday, February 16th at 6 p.m. I believe John shared the flyer, but you'll learn more about ranked choice voting and you'll get your questions answered. So come join us, learn how it works. And if you have any questions, you can always email at cityislandrising@gmail.com. You're muted,
Yes.
John. There you go.
I'm sorry about that. I am actually just about to drop in the links for the ranked choice voting so people can register, as well as face masks if you need the face mask. But the masks go with meals, and the person who's been kind of keeping City Island well fed during this pandemic is David Diaz. So David, please take it away.
Sure, John. Thank you. Thank you all for all your support in this and what we've been doing, just getting food out to people who need it here on the island. You know, that's the one thing that has shown us, you know, especially in this pandemic, right? You never know who actually is in need. So I would just ask you all to keep reaching out to us, keep sending me, you know, myself and John, people's addresses who you think may need it. And we will make sure that they get it out there, you know, and get food to them for sure. Also at this point, I'd like to really thank Joanne, who's always been a big supporter and sharing the names with us and so forth. But Dan Traber also, who has been essential with Dan with the van, who has been helping me pick up lots and lots of meals. And not just for here on City Island, but we do a few of the senior NYCHA buildings in the area as well on Middletown Road and on Glebe Avenue. So he's been really essential for this, and it's been amazing. I want to thank you. He also is going to be the host of our hopefully soon to be composting site, which we're all waiting to hear back from the Department of Sanitation, but that is in the works as well too. With that, I want to bring in somebody who is actually, who's been a vital part of this food relief program, and that is our very own Chef Alex. So without any further ado, I would like, Chef, come on, talk about, the grant, talk about the work that we've been doing, talk about, your place and so forth, my friend. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, David. So, yeah, I guess it just started during Christmas time. We wanted to do something to help the neighborhood. It was just, something that was just teaching my kids, how to value and respect your neighbors and do something, give back with the gift that we have. We were just so lucky to never be food insecure because we own a restaurant. And I wanted to teach him how there's people in your community that are struggling, especially now more than ever. COVID has been a brutal blow to food insecurity across the country. America was already, I think it had something like 5 million children that were going hungry before COVID even happened. Now with the pandemic, there's just people that can't provide for themselves. There's no jobs. So how are people supposed to eat? So we had nothing in store for Christmas. I mean, there's no family events to be had at the time. And we took our closest family and we made 120 meals for people on the island. And then later in the week, we got a phone call from a grant site called High Roads Kitchen. The gentleman, Mikey, is a chef and he owns a bunch of restaurants in LA. And he wanted me to advocate for a couple of things. One was to help with food insecurity in my neighborhood. And the other thing was to advocate for One Fair Wage, which is a organization which supports equaling the pay of the front of the house to the back of the house and giving them a fair minimum wage so that they are not subject to just tipping. Tipping is kind of an archaic system that we inherited in the restaurant world, and we can change that. So in New York in particular, New York's one of the only states in which the back of the house can't receive any of the tip money because it's against the law. So we want to kind of evolve to a different format where everybody makes the wage, above minimum wage or above, and where the tip sharing helps everybody in the restaurant. Because as David knows, and I know, you can work in a restaurant as a chef for 40 100 hours a week, and the servers will come in and make the same money that you made in 5 hours. So it's a very difficult place to be in. Secondly, we received the grant to make 500 meals, so we've already successfully completed 300 meals, and we're on our way to completing 500 within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate it. You're muted.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure I follow up on that, because Christmas was something that was, I want to make sure that people understand that was something that came from you. That wasn't a grant. That wasn't from us. You reached out to me and offered that, which I think was completely amazing. And that's how I believe the universe works, right? So you did something really good, and then it followed up with, the grants and so forth. So we can hopefully continue that. And hopefully with the grant that we applied for, John and I, if that does come through, that we'll be able to continue this work. So again, Alex,
that's
thank
good.
you, Jeff.
We'd love to be part of it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's rewarding for myself. And even though, it's been very challenging running a business during this time, we'd love to not only give people something nutritious that will prevent them hopefully from getting COVID. It's not going to prevent them from getting COVID, but it's going to keep them healthy. Beyond other meals that they're getting, we're giving them quality for, and that's really what matters. Having a hot, fresh meal right at your doorstep, from less than a mile away, that's the way to do it.
And I just wanted to point out the One Fair Wage connection actually came from Senator Biaggi. So
That's right.
Acknowledge all good work where it comes from.
No, that's right. Yes, because yes, they're working with Senator Biaggi to help pass this bill, and I believe it's already being passed. So in the works. So that's part of it. Is yes, Senator Biaggi, thank you if you're listening.
Does anyone have any questions for Chef Alex?
I just have a comment and a word of thanks. So Alex, I didn't know that the Christmas distribution started out partially as a way for you to involve your kids. But as you know, my 8-year-old came with us to do distribution of meals.
That's right.
And I have to, my parents, both of whom have passed, started a tradition with me of doing community service and helping in our local community distribute Meals on Wheels on Christmas Day, because that was one of our family traditions. And so I thank you for helping me to pass that family tradition onto my son. You are doing great work. The tears that were in people's eyes when we brought them fresh meals on Christmas Day are such a treasure. And everybody who has the wherewithal please go take advantage of this man's amazing food, because it's incredible, and the giving to the community is fantastic. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'm glad I could help.
And I know AOC said we're not supposed to go back to brunch, but if you are going to go to brunch, you should consider going to Archie's because they've got a good brunch.
They're really good brunch.
Yes, I just, again, keep committed to justice. But if you're going to take a break for brunch, I think it's allowed.
It's a different kind of brunch.
Yes. Anyone else have any questions, comments, anything that they'd like to share with Chef Alex?
John, 2 seconds. It's sort of actually a spin-off of Dave. Very preliminary plans. We're going to, this is sort of an extension of the Anchor fridge. The loose plan is to build small portable sort of vegetable planters boxes that are going to be put on casters for in front of people's houses or storefronts, where essentially people are going to sponsor a box that's going to be roughly 2x4 or 2x8. We haven't quite gotten the logistics yet, but they're all going to, everything that's planted in the planters is supposed to be either like a basically edible things. And so they're going to be portable, personable community gardens that we're going to sort of put around ideally both City Island and the Bronx. So if you're interested in either funding a box or building a box or planting a box or taking care of them, reach out to us, and we're sort of hopefully in the next month or two we'll have the actual logistics. But I just wanted to throw that out if somebody needs a project because they're around and available. It seems like a fun idea, so reach out and let us know if you want to be involved.
And thank you, Dan, for all that you are doing with the fridge. As someone who lives in the closest proximity of the fridge, I will tell you, it really, people are going in there, they're getting help. And I do see a lot of City Islanders dropping off food there, which also makes me feel very good. So thank you and Raina for allowing that there. And hopefully
One last thought.
Yes.
I think a community garden is the most wonderful idea I have ever heard for City Island.
Good.
And
Oh,
I really,
awesome. Thanks.
I thank Dan for this. Thank you so
It's
much.
cool. I mean, come help us. That's more important than anything else. We want to, oh, sorry.
You're muted, Dan.
Sorry, I did that in reverse. Just come help
That's
us. That's more important than accolades. We just want people to get involved and to either, do this for everybody. So
Is there, sorry to interrupt, Dan, is there any way to actually find land to do like a true community garden?
So I think it's a two-part answer. Long-term, yes. Short-term, the reason we sort of we brainstormed about the boxes is because it enables people to immediately engage. And it was also the discussion of public artwork. So the boxes are going to be made standard size, but some people will paint murals on them. Some people will keep them natural. Some people will glue objects to them. So it activates public space so that it both feeds people and looks good, aesthetically pleasing. There's a lot of spots on the island I have my eyes on, but real estate and free gardening on City Island doesn't necessarily work itself out yet. But we'll see. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I think it would be like really worthwhile to do something like that and use the food, what's harvested there, in the school to feed.
Absolutely. There's Bronx hot sauce, which is actually sort of what this is an idea spun off of that, whereas Bronx hot sauce pays people to grow hot peppers that they then buy back and use for hot sauce from the Bronx. So it's all Bronx based. So we wanted to do sort of our version of that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
But thanks,
Yeah,
Alex.
Yeah, and I think let's connect offline because I think next week there's something going on with green markets. I think through the Parks Department, a Green Thumb program or whatever. And if you need supplies, we have some connections to get you supplies free of charge. So I want to be helpful there. But good ideas all around. Does anyone else have any questions on anything related to to food or either this project that Dan's doing, which sounds very worthwhile, or what Alex and Dave have co-sponsored here, getting the meals to people?
Well, I would love to volunteer my yard, which is more than we can handle anyway, and set up a community garden. I don't know if that's legal. I don't know what is involved with that, but we would do it.
Okay,
We're on Miniford.
Can you please shoot me your email, contact info, and let's start with that discussion. Because if there's a way we can work with your generosity, I think everyone here, I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. We're serious about that. Thank you, Linda.
I will, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Okay.
Nous sommes français.
You're going to teach me French by the end of this, which would be
Yes,
good.
we are French here.
God bless. God bless. Okay. Next up on our goodwill tour of City Island, we are moving on to Kevin Fisher, who is the president of the PTA on City Island. And as we were getting into before the meeting started, this is a rough year of adjustment for all the children on City Island. And we want to do everything in our power to learn what the PTA is up to. And it's a very difficult year for them, just in terms of, when the parents are all together, you're able to do more in terms of philanthropy and whatever, and what we can do as a community to support the goodwill they do. So Kevin, thank you for coming, and please take it away.
Oh, no, please. Thank you for having me. It's implicit. It's really nice to see, familiar faces, usual suspects. There's a lot of crossover and goodwill in City Island. It's part of the community construct. We've enjoyed, first off, I wanted to say thank you to you guys. I mentioned to Bev, for Giving Tuesday, after Black Friday and all around that, you guys drove some traffic and funds our way, and it's greatly appreciated. To put things in perspective, for those of you who aren't familiar with the school construct, we have about 300 students. It's a K through 8. And City Island is in a unique position that, compared to a lot of other Bronx schools, they might enjoy Title I funds. The average income level of City Islanders makes it such that our school is ineligible for that. That kind of leaves close to $500,000 off the table for our students. Right now, in the past 2 years that I've been directly involved in the PTA, we've been trying to figure out, if you can believe it, how I grew up, is kind of driving how I wanted to see my kids be exposed to certain enrichments. Like we might have had wood shop or home ec or fundamental, things for kids to learn additional skill sets and be productive members of the community. PS 175 unfortunately doesn't have the budget for that. We had some small low-level grants that switched around to put in perspective. A comprehensive arts and music program can run about $30,000 to $50,000 a year. So our common fundraisers, we would, unfortunately this year, you make a great point, John, is that we missed out on election day. That's usually a $10,000 to $15,000 fundraiser. Pocketbook bingo, I see a couple of you guys that unfortunately had to do, refunds and things like that. We're shooting for September, fingers crossed for everybody's sake. If things are really dire, I understand these are difficult times, reach out to me. You've seen my email out there for refunds, but I have a couple of links to kind of discuss. Right now, we're doing a cookie dough fundraiser, drop ship cookie dough and soup mixes, popcorn, stuff like that. Is it okay if I put some links in the chat? Are you amenable to that? So our City Island website, cityislandpta.org. If you guys are interested in a fundraiser wherein 40% of the go to the school, you can shop and see if you want to get some snickerdoodle dough or something like that. One of the other things that we're trying to work on, and it's been this chicken egg argument of how do we integrate to the community and how do we say thanks to the businesses that we need and rely on so much, but also moving forward, we want to keep these places afloat, we're starting to reach out and try and coordinate, let's say discounts or sponsored nights. Let's say, Chef Alex, we'd kind of touched on it. Nothing, we haven't cemented it yet, but the idea is, let's say Thursday night is Archie's night, and maybe a little bit of the proceeds or something can funnel back to the school, and the school can drive traffic in kind. In this day and age, different people have different comfort zones. Some people are already COVID immune, some people are in the bunker. I totally sympathize with that. To put numbers in perspective, whereas normally the PTA would clear, let's say 20, 25 grand, to funnel back into programming, we're probably at 3 to 5K. I mean, it's, participation. I've lobbied heavily for a dues construct that, families kind of, everybody takes a hit and pays for the share, but we have a wide range of family constructs and backgrounds, socioeconomic levels. The final things that I want you guys to see, and we're in a bit of a transition phase. Let me see if I get this link right. Bear with me for a second. Is that we were fortunate enough, I have a 7-year-old who's currently at the school, and that's city. And then these are 2 report constructs. You can kind of see what the average score and composition of the school is kind of saying. Like, we see a kind of a net decline in score performance. Part of this is, curriculum shift. I've been trying to get to the bottom of what is the causality. We have a new principal in town, and she's trying to get things settled. Ms. Porras, for those of you who have met her, clearly has the kids' well-being at heart, but it also takes some time for these transitions and institutional changes to kick into place. So, all I can say is, looking at due participation in the school, if we're lucky, it's maybe 1 in 4, for a token yearly, throw $10 into the middle towards some of these programs. It's easier said than done. And it's a long-term hearts and minds campaign. We have crossover, different programs. City Island Oyster Reef is doing the restoration of the wetlands behind the school. This garden initiative that you guys are talking about last year, Miss Hale, she did, I believe it was daffodils in the flower boxes. Why not turn that into something? Daffodils only get you so far. So let's switch gears, and get edibles. I like that. And then finally, the big transition this last year, for those of you who might be familiar with the space, there are modular classrooms that were scheduled for demolition. That was approved. God knows what the budget's going to look like and when they're going to be able to affect that, but that was due to move forward. And, Bev had brought that restoration, initiative to my attention. We're trying to get those modulars out of there first, so we can try and switch gears and move ahead with kind of the beautification and, restoration of that space behind the school. But again, I can't say thank you enough to City Island Rising. And again, I see, people that I've crossed paths with, Dave and stuff. We're all in this together, and I really appreciate everybody's support. And, I bought into the City Island thing. We've been in the Bronx for 15 years. I really look forward to continuing to grow the community with everybody. And if there's any questions or specifics about the school that you might want addressed, to be addressed, just let me know, and I'll advocate as hard as I can. And it's for the kids. Yeah, Alex, please.
So I had a conversation this morning with Miss Porras about my kid, and as it turns out, we've all been vaccinated, so we're in a better level of protection. And our kid has been home since last year. He's been home for about this entire school year and half of last school year. We wanted to reintegrate him back into school, and we were denied. I know it's not essentially their doing, because they're just following what New York City has, um, mandated for them.
Yes.
But I feel like it's kind of with the vaccine out and people starting to get vaccinated. I feel like this is something that should be advocated for, because there's no reason that a kid should the kid should be allowed back in class if the parent chooses so.
You
And I
make,
understand that they're functionally limited by space, and that's why they were building the trailers. But is there nothing else that can be done to?
so,
I mean,
so you'll forgive me. My understanding, and I was, there have been a couple of things. I mean, part of the drive, I wish I could say that it was all, of course I want the world to be a better place and I want the school environment to be better for our kids, but where the rubber hits the road is there have been a couple of things that I've been surprised by the chancellor's, directives that this opt in and opt out is that kids had to be all in or all out.
Right,
I thought that we
right.
would evaluate this on a quarterly,
Exactly.
window. And, I hate to say it, some of the feedback that, part of the PTA membership is that I'm on the school leadership team as well. And, we talk about what directives are coming down from above, so that's de Blasio and Chancellor Carranza. And it was this, like line in the sand drawn about how, we were going to, and by we is that the school was going to say, okay, if you don't say that your kid's on site by date X, it's see you next year, and we're kicking the can down the road.
I mean, it was terrible, because when they had decided to do that,
Yep.
it was the peak of the pandemic.
It was the throes of so as you and I have talked in the past at your restaurant, is me being at Einstein, I was at I was tangential to the front lines, right? So I saw a lot of heavy duty stuff, and I was I was really skittish and very defensive and protective about the whole COVID construct, right? Like I was like, we gotta tread lightly, and we gotta evaluate, and we gotta assess, and you let the numbers drive whatever. We've already seen the wheels come off with, okay, at 3%, everything's done. Like this has all been evolving and moving on the fly, right? Like is I see the effects, like I try to make up time with my kid, but I for the schooling, but I know that there's a lot of families out there, whether work or, that kids are falling further and further behind. So you saw that KN1 was brought back on board full time, and sixth graders were, but seventh and eighth will be alternating A and B. So there's some method to the madness, but it's still not a proper substitute for proper, full-time education, right? Like,
No, definitely not. I mean, the kids are suffering. They've been locked at home. I mean,
this is a lost year, and I struggled, and I'd be interested to hear your feedback and those others in the group that, it's I considered this a triage year. I accepted that my kid was not going to learn. Like, I said,
yeah.
okay, we just got to survive. And then I'll do my best with education. Everybody's in the same boat, and it was that one of the last SLT meetings, after Thanksgiving, what was it? City Island was on a tear, like 13 to 17% COVID positivity rates in the tests. And, there were some parents on the SLT that were advocating for, doubling capacity in classroom. And I just felt that it increased incidence. Like generally we went from a 3 cohort construct to a every other day construct, right? And it's just it's not one size fits all. And the sad part is that with the vaccination is there is going to be this stratification of the composition of the school. How do we keep everybody safe? I think I don't think there's you and I think can assess this and say, yes, like let's get this settled. I'm not sure that it's at the local schools construct. Is that there were certain things where in the early days we weren't exposed and we didn't have COVID on a grand scale where it was really blown up in South Bronx and stuff like that, they didn't let that much differentiation happen across the districts and the schools accordingly. I would agree with you. The rollout's a bit botched. It might be higher level, than the school's decision, to be honest. Is that I've tried to, kind of get as much insight as I could without totally upsetting, their day-to-day operations. It's every day they're trying to accommodate, what we're getting one COVID case a week at the school, and we were just coming off the 10-day shutdown, I will bring it up to them and pursue more guidance. A lot of it is, you hear district level, chancellor level directives like that.
That's what they were telling me, is that it was coming from the chancellor.
Yeah.
And I feel like, there should be some kind of, letting in of students at any given time that their personal situation allows it, because they need the social interaction. And whether they're they rotate students in or out that are in there already. I mean, they shouldn't just have one set of students in there for 5 days a week when there's other students that want access to in-person learning as well.
Right. No, I mean, that's it. Is like, I cringe sometimes when I see my kid do something that, is a character flaw of mine, and I just know that it's through overexposure around the house. And, there's something to be said for interacting with peers. It's how do you grow as a person, right? Like, I can only deliver so much to my kids, right? So I totally sympathize. I mean, not to make it about myself, my projection, is that I was pleased to see kindergarten and first grade, I would say vulnerable, students, in the sense of that they might not necessarily know. And I know that, you have little ones. I
mean, my kid is in first grade, so.
Yeah. So is that that the first grade is like, my kid's a second grader, and it's like herding cats. Like, the kid's zooming more than I am during the day. And, to get these low band kids, these young kids, I go, okay, a 6th or 7th grader, you can plug them in front of a computer, tell them what to do, and maybe they'll get there. Right.
Right.
So
my kid has no clue how to use the apps.
Oh,
I mean,
get it. I know.
Somebody has to be with him full time. It's like we have to be teachers at this point, and it's
you're doing it double time. And that's what I said is, my complaint, frankly, at the outset of this was from last year. I'd hope that we would see a little more asynchronous education, that like, maybe I can only do lessons with my kid at 7 p.m. or something like that, so, I wanted more canned content, and, rather than trying to have it happen
at that particular time.
When you're day prepping, or I'm trying to, do work or whatever. So
I mean, people have jobs, and people have to still.
That's it.
And guys, gentlemen, actually, Kim Woodruff, who's on our board, is actually on the Community Education Council. I think she has some insight to add to this.
No,
from her
I'm all
experience.
for that. And sorry if I've been,
No, not at all. Not at all. Just want to.
That's it. Fire away, please. And good to meet you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, other hat here. I am on the Community Education Council for District 11. I'm the vice president there. And I can say, our Community Education Council, I can't say we're a powerful force, but I am at least kind of well informed. And one thing I can tell you is, like, a lot of these decisions with capacities, which grade levels are open, these schedules, like, they are not under the control of the school. So if you're looking to make changes to how things are at the school, I would focus on the things that we can change at the school level. So things like, how can we get more socialization for our kids who are not in school? Can we start organizing, like, can we do more events? Can we do things to, like, affect the things at the school level that are within the limitations that the principal is working within, because she only has so much control over the situation. And unfortunately, it really is like the way that our district, the way that the New York City schools run, it's just very top-down directives. There's like basically we've got a mayor and we've got a chancellor, and the mayor decides who the chancellor is, and so it's basically the mayor runs the schools in a lot of ways. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. If you want to influence change higher up the line, then you have to kind of make yourself heard at those kind of things. So like the CEC meetings at the district levels, the CEC meetings always have at the calendar meeting, which is generally the second Tuesday of the month, there's always a public forum. And that's always an opportunity to speak. And the superintendent and the deputy superintendent are always there, and they're very receptive. I know that your liaison is not me. I can't be the liaison for the school because I have a child in the school. So Kim Famous is the liaison for your school. And at least some of you, I'm sure, know her. Her daughter did go through the school, and now that her daughter's not in the school anymore, she does live on City Island and she can be the liaison. So speaking to her about concerns, one thing I can say from just the district perspective is that City Island does act like the school, can sometimes act like an island. So it's a little bit self-contained and doesn't always get involved, but I can tell you that, you know, Ms. Porras does come to the CEC meetings and comes to all the principal meetings. The PC also comes to the meetings. So if you have these concerns, like I would try to work with them to see, you know, what exactly can be done at the school level and what needs to be pushed up. And then there's even higher meetings than that. So, you know, I don't know, Kevin, if you go to the President's Council meetings, but I'm like, if City Island on its own, parents here, like we can only influence the school, but we don't have much influence on the entire city, because even in District 11, there's thousands and thousands of students and 45 schools. And, you know, you're right, we're one of only I think there's 4 schools in the district that are not Title I. So that is a disadvantage to us. But showing up at district meetings, and if you have an issue, is something to do. You know, there's lots of ways that you can voice your opinions and bring about change at higher levels. But unfortunately, just at the school level, there's only so much you can do. So just want to kind of, and if you want to reach out to me or Kim Famous, we're both Kims, but about the different things that you're concerned about, I mean, we're your representatives at the district level. But I can say, you know, everybody's hands are a little tied. The principal's hands are tied. She's under the purview of the superintendent, and then, you know, her hands are tied to some. They've certain things that they can decide for themselves, and then a lot of things are directives that come from up on high. So just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. Thanks.
It's
No,
experience. It's experienced information,
that's
not
it.
2 cents.
I really appreciate that insight. And you know, there's multiple tiers of, you know, of things for us to work with, you know, and kind of address. Again, the enrichment stuff is something, you know, Ms. Porras, you know, just closed out the comprehensive education plan proposal. So there's certain educational construct level material that's been addressed at the school leadership team level. But, you know, it makes perfect sense that this is kind of a larger overarching issue that we can try and, you know, work on the macro and the micro. You know, like I'll bring it, you know, I'll pick their brain and Tina's brain and see, you know, how we can advocate for you accordingly. And I hear you. There's 2 camps. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are, you know, vaccinated. I look forward to a day when we're all square and things start getting back to normal, you know. But we'll talk about this further.
Kevin,
Yeah.
I just want to thank you. I think this is like, I'm learning so much from, and I've actually been messaging Beverly. I'm learning more about the school and how it operates through what you guys are saying than,
No.
you know.
It's really been well, and I hate to say the first year was kind of a learning thing, and then just when I thought that things were clicking, COVID hits, right? Like we had partnership, City Island Roadies were doing the 5K for
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day. I'd reached out to Dom Esposito for Little League. I wanted to start doing movies in the park, little fundraisery things like this. That's just, again, it's how do you get buy-in? We're all here because we want more for our community, and I'm all for having my cake and eating it too. If a little bit of money trickles into the school, God knows it needs it, right? It's just terminally underfunded. And, so to see everybody like-minded and coming together, I mean, this is the initiative that you guys have set up, right? So we're all in it together. So,
and let's try to work together, because I see a lot of our people are on here. Let's try to find a way for us to be supportive of you and the PTA, whether it's an annual fundraising thing or, I know we did one already, but something where we can give back in a substantive way to support the good work that you guys are doing as parents and as advocates, whatever we can do to kind of just lend support to that. I think we're all very serious about doing.
No, and I see it, and I really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Kevin, thank you so much for your presentation. You were great. And we definitely want to have you back next year if you're willing to give us a further update on the school. And,
whether or not I'm on the board. I mean, this year it's just like cookie dough only gets you so far. I don't know. It's we all wanted more out of this year. I think we can all probably say that that's a safe bet for everybody. But
either way, you're a wealth of knowledge.
No,
and
that's it.
And
no,
I learned a lot.
No, we'll talk shop. That's great.
And can you send and I know we've got a few parents here who have the kids for the cookie dough thing. I've actually made a few commitments to buy from those particular parents, and I'm committed to that. But can you send me something so I can just get it out to the membership? Because we have like an email list, like 500-600 people. So that way they can buy their cookies from the kids.
No, absolutely. That's great. I will send that in the chat, but on the sideline as well.
Thank you. Yes, because we should all give money.
Buy early, buy often. It's like voting.
There we go.
By the way. Thank you.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, Kevin, for that. And really great guest today on both counts, gentlemen. So thank you for all that you guys are doing. And I see a few other people who have joined who are doing a lot of things on the side, from Joanne Valletta to Ariadna and Dan and David Diaz. So thank you all. First, we're going to get to the elected officials, and then we're going to get to open session. So anyone who has any comments, let me know. One thing I did want to bring up before we go over to elected officials is last month we had said we were going to go to the MTA board meeting, which is virtual. Every intention of doing that. I didn't realize how hard and fast the deadline is to register for an MTA board meeting. It's pretty legit, to the point where if you don't register within that 1 hour time frame they give you during the day, you ain't speaking. And you record and it gets played there. So I want to let everyone know we're going to do it this month, which is Thursday. February 18th is the board meeting at 10 a.m. And you have to register Tuesday, February 16th at 10 a.m. You submit your comments at between 10 and 11. So I'm learning new things all the time, and I didn't realize how absolutely ironclad this was. I thought I would, know somebody at the MTA and be able to weasel in a comment. No, that's not how this works. So we are committed to doing the MTA thing. Again, this is a reminder. They've already committed to doing a 24/7 Bronx 29 bus, which will be a loop around City Island. This had, as Kevin was saying about some other stuff, this had all come out pre-pandemic. And now it's about trying to make sure that through our federal partners, and we've been speaking to the Congresswoman's office, that for their support, we're doing everything we can to really make that happen there, and to keep the focus on getting what we were promised with the 24/7 bus service. So that's super important. And I want to turn it over to the elected officials. And I saw Farah. Farah, you had your camera on, and I see Andy's there. So yep. Farah, you're good to go. You're
okay.
first.
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Great to hear from the speakers tonight. Nice to meet you, Kevin. I'm a fellow PA president, so I feel for you. It's hard on everyone.
I was gonna say,
Again,
congrats or
and if,
condolences.
yeah. I did want to mention, though, I wasn't going to mention it, but since you're here, we are doing 2 small things for the schools, and I just sent it out to the principals for the kids, just something to keep them a little more engaged. We're having a poster contest in honor of Black History Month. So any kid that wants to make a poster, to email to our office, we are giving prizes of a tablet. So we encourage anyone who wants to join. I just hope the principal is letting the kids know about it. And then the same for next month is in honor of Women's History Month. We're asking the kids to write a small essay about a woman who inspires them. And again, we'll be giving out prizes to the kids for that. So just want to let you know about that. Some of the things we are doing throughout the district is every Friday, we have a huge food giveaway. We know there's a lot of food insecurity out there. We do give to the seniors in City Island at Pilot Cove every week food boxes, but at the Greek Church, which is at 3573 Bruckner Boulevard, we are there with boxes and boxes of food to give away to any of those who need it. Just come by between 2:30 and 5. We also have a rapid COVID testing event on City Island on Monday. Again, not in Pilot Cove, but in front of it, open to all. And you get results while you wait. So anyone who does need a test, then please come stop by. That'll be on Monday from 1 to 2. I know we've gotten lots of requests for vaccination events on the island, but we have not been able to secure that yet, but we have been asking for it. The other thing that we are going to be starting to do as well is free tax prep services. We were doing it virtually, but we've secured 2 locations now to do one-on-one in person. We know a lot of people have a hard time doing things online. So we will be opening our phones to make appointments next week. One of the locations will be on City Island. So we encourage you to call our office. If you qualify, you have to earn a maximum threshold of $68,000 to get free tax prep. And I'll leave my phone number in the chat for anyone who has questions or would like to call for an appointment. So thank you very much and be safe and well, everyone.
Thank you, Farah. That was a wealth of information. And the COVID testing flyer is going to be on our social media 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I meant to follow up. John, I know we mentioned about the bus you were talking to us about, and he did ask to speak to you in next month about that. He
Okay.
wants to work with you on that next month. Also, for Beverly and Kim, I did have a long meeting with DOT with all of your concerns, your safety concerns, and I'm waiting to get, results from that, but we went point by point over all those safety issues. Some he's definitely looking into doing. Some, like speed bumps, probably couldn't do because there's a lot of bus routes in those areas, but they can't have speed bumps where the buses go. But I will reach out to you guys soon. I'm hoping very soon on those points. So thank you
so
again.
much.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Thank you, Farah. And Andy, you're here from Senator Biaggi's office, so your turn now, sir.
Well, John, thank you so much. And always, the Senator and I always continue to be inspired by City Island Rising's great humanitarian work, and really appreciate Chef Alex and the shout out for her wage bill. I know she'll be thrilled when she hears about that. Obviously, they are in session in the Senate, even though it's virtual. Senator Biaggi recently introduced a bill that would curtail certain carbon emissions and help reduce air pollution, looking at places, like the South Bronx, et cetera, and just aimed overall in public health. And she also recently was a co-sponsor of a bill that passed that will protect people more against housing discrimination. We obviously have seen a lot happening on the housing front during COVID. Back here at home, as not much more to add than what John and others were saying at the beginning about the COVID vaccine and the difficulties with it. We're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. We heard from the governor's office this week that there will be a 5% increase in the amount of doses that the state is getting. We had some initial success in booking seniors appointments at Yankee Stadium. As you can imagine, in the Bronx, they are running quite low. And to Farah's point about places in the Northeast Bronx and not there being many vaccination sites, we're also continuing to work on those efforts with Community Board 10 and others. I know we requested a site at Lehman High School. The issue just hasn't been sites, it's been supply. We're the city, we have a lot of great places, as City Island does, to vaccines. So hopefully as things improve in the supply chain, more and more people will get vaccinated, but we're staying on top of the governor, the mayor, and everybody that we need to be in touch with to help improve things, there. So, there's a lot of unemployment and cases and other things that we're working on to help constituents with. We're also sending seniors who don't have access to the computer or working with the Department of Finance so that they can get their taxes as well as directions to fill it out via paper and mail. So those are just a couple of things that we're working on. Happy to take any questions, hear any concerns, and I will also put my information in the chat, and we'll continue to work together. But thanks for having me again. It's my second meeting, and I look forward to many more.
Thank you, Andy, for all you and the senator are doing, and thank you, Farah, for what you and the council member are doing. Does anyone have any questions for Andy or Farah? This is the time. So just use that hand function if you can. But yeah, this is the time to, if you have a question to our elected officials, they're nice enough to send representatives to attend these meetings. So we want to maximize that time. If you have a question, I see there have been a couple chat comments, and I agree with those chat comments. But if anyone has any questions or anything in the neighborhood, going once, so feel free. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you escaped unscathed this time, which is great. Andy, I'll connect with you offline. The senator has been a great advocate for fixing a lot of the pollution issues in the Hutchinson River, which obviously stream into the Long Island Sound. And I know as the budget's coming closer and whatever happens with the Mother Nature Bond Act, which had money set aside to clean up situations just like what's happening in Mount Vernon. For those of you who are tuning in the problem now, basically sewage is being dumped in the Hutchinson River. Barbara Zom, who's on the call, also is very involved in this and getting it cleaned up. And it's causing our section of the Sound to have a horrible rating in comparison to the rest of Long Island Sound. So we are very serious about getting this addressed, and the senator has been a tremendous partner in doing that, along with Senator Bailey, who's in the neighboring district, of working with the Mount Vernon mayor and trying to get the situation resolved. This has been going on for like 20 years, but there's federal lawsuits going on. There's a lot going on. And I know we're going to have to circle back, all of us as partners, to try to keep it moving forward, but to be continued there. Before we go to open session, I just wanted everyone to know we're in the works of doing an e-waste recycling event on City Island. We have a vendor picked out. This is David Diaz has been involved in this as well. This is a part of our overall kind of push for environmental betterment of this community. So we are going to be doing an e-waste event. It's going to be in the spring. We don't have all the details yet, but when we do have them, you will know. So now it is open forum. We did get 2 requests that were in, and we encourage you, when you have a request, to message us at cityislandrising@gmail.com or text email Kim, Beverly, myself, Louisa, David, Dan, Stephanie. I'm probably forgetting someone who you should also be texting, but you can, any of us are fine. Barbara Zom, you're there, so you are first on the agenda.
Yeah, hi everybody.
Hi.
I just want, we just had a some information about Senator Biaggi's office, and I just wanted to inform everybody that City Island Indivisible will have a meeting with Senator Biaggi and with the Assemblyman Michael Benedetto on February 25th to discuss the upcoming budgetary issues that the legislatures will be dealing with, I think in April. I think that's when those discussions take place. So our meeting with them will be on February 25th at 6 o'clock. And City Island Indivisible will be hosting it, but we invite everybody to attend. And if you want to attend, and specifically, we're going to concentrate to some extent on the New York Healthcare Act. We want to know what each of these legislators think about the New York Healthcare Act in general, as well as any other budgetary issues that they feel that is their priorities. So I guess I could put the City Island Indivisible website, Gmail in the chat. And if you're interested in attending, please just let us know and we will invite you. So I'm going to figure out where the chat is here because I'm not on my regular computer.
Okay. And Barbara, you'll send it to me and because for informational purposes, we will e-blast it out so City Islanders can interact with their elected officials, taking a nonpartisan course, but passing on very good information on the services you are providing.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Figure out where the chat is here.
And don't worry, if you can't, we will get that out.
Okay.
Kai, are you on you're still on the call, Kai?
I am. Hello.
Hello. Wanted to, because you were nice enough to reach out to me, had a very good idea. And that's exactly what we want in these meetings, are the good ideas to kind of come out and be shared with everybody. Can you kind of extend what we were talking about?
Yeah. So the idea itself is actually my wife Tiger's great idea because she is always a problem solver. But yeah, I had a conversation with a woman this morning about vaccination that was not based entirely in fact. And I realized, I don't even know that much about vaccines, the vaccines that are going around. And, maybe it would be a very useful thing for us to be able to bring in an expert and ask questions and maybe dispel some of these pretty common rumors that I've been seeing going around, so we can, have these debates in a more factual, like starting from a more factual place. And that was Tiger's idea, was to have the expert come in, of course.
Your better half.
Much better half.
I personally think it's a wonderful idea. And if everyone's okay as a group, what I'd like to do is I can reach out through my professional capacities. We'll get a public health doctor, MD, fully certified. We'll bring them in to have a discussion on City on a Zoom call, much like this, which we'll sponsor, and we'll get it out there. And if City Islanders have questions about the vaccine, they can ask one-on-one. Everybody's okay?
That's a great idea.
Great. Kai, thank you thank you and thank Tiger for thinking of it and bringing it to the meeting, because we want more of that in these meetings, people having great ideas and bringing them here, and you and I will work together on setting up that vaccination meeting.
Sounds great.
Yes, and we will definitely, Beverly, I got your suggestion there. It's a wonderful suggestion, and we will work on that as well. All right, Ariadna, you're next. Take it away.
Sure. I just wanted to briefly take an opportunity to thank Joanne Valletta just publicly, and to thank the ladies of the American Legion Auxiliary here on the island. They did some amazing work recently in organizing to collect warm clothing and baby supplies for South Bronx Mutual Aid families. So for those that don't know me, I'm Ariadna Phillips. I'm the founder and lead organizer of South Bronx Mutual Aid. We're a collective of volunteers, also now in process of formally incorporating, but basically we bring food supplies, other needs, and just advocacy work on behalf of housing, other legal needs that folks have, just to people in the Bronx, and have been doing this since April of 2020. But I just wanted to really say we are incredibly grateful to Joanne, to all the folks of City Island. All of the baby supplies have already been distributed to families, and we're in process of sorting all of the amazing clothing and warm winter items again for further distribution. Some has already reached families and we have more public distributions coming, but we're just overwhelmed with gratitude. We couldn't believe the amount of bags that we picked up in this past week. So thank you to everyone that was a part of that drive. We received it from many vectors, and I just want to say thank you. And thank you again to Joanne and the Ladies Auxiliary for making that possible.
Okay, thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Ariadna, for all you do as well to get people fed and taken care of. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share, comment on, question about, community need that we have not touched on tonight? This is your opportunity. Anush, go ahead. And if anyone else wants to go after Anush, just chat me or use your hand function. Go ahead,
Hi,
Anush.
let me just go into another room. Hi, I just wanted to say thank you to City Island Rising for your fundraiser for Giving Tuesday. That was a really wonderful thing. So this was for the Eastchester Bay Street Cat Project, and at the end of the year, we basically ended up with all of our work doing TNR and rescuing kittens. We ended up saving 80 cats and kittens on City Island, or I should say we rescued about maybe a little bit more than 36 kittens, and then we did a lot of TNR. We did a little bit in Pelham Bay Park and a little small amount in Throgs Neck, but so we started out our operations again for kitten season is just around the corner, and we're trying to trap as many females as we can. We just trapped our first pregnant female last week, so we were just wanting to put it out there for anybody who wants to volunteer with transportation or learn about trapping, who wants to get involved with fostering, or anything having to do with the cats and kittens. And we're really creating some relationships with other bigger organizations in the Bronx, like Bronx Tales and Bronx Colony Cats. And so I think we had a really successful first year. The fundraising is a really critical part of it. And yeah, so if anybody wants to get in touch, they can go on our Facebook page. We have an email address. You can drop an email or call our phone number, which is really my Google Voice number, which is 347 871 meow MEOW 6369. So yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Anush, thank you for all you're doing for obviously some of our four-legged friends on the island. And I know that we all, if we can all lend a trip for the TNR, and transport, I know that's a need you have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm
up of other needs perhaps. So please, send us your fundraising, any sort of fundraising link. We can send that out.
Yeah.
Via social media, and you still have me for when you need me to make a
that's
trip
what you
for
keep saying. That's what you keep
I'm
saying.
offering. You just don't take me up on that offer, but I am still sincere in the offer, and you can feel free to use it or abuse it.
Next
so
Friday. Next Friday.
Okay. All right.
I'm in too, John.
Oh yeah, David,
transport.
David, I sent you a message because I
Yes.
was trying to get in touch with you. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks so much,
right.
everybody.
Thank you, Anush. And then does anyone else, I'm going to put Cecil on because Cecil's here from Transportation Alternatives. And we've been working with them on the issues with the safety in Pelham Bay Park and some of our suggestions and working with their group. So I'm going to bring Cecil on to ask a question. If anyone has another question, comment, concern, message me now because I'm going to go with whoever messages me. And then we're going to try to keep the meeting moving smoothly. So Cecil, take it away. And anyone who has a question, let me know.
Thank you, John. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy National Peppermint Day. My name is Cecil. I'm based in the South Bronx, but I love the East Bronx. I used to go up to City Island every weekend with my dad, do some fishing. And yeah, so I'm here. I wear a few different hats uptown. Recent college grad, just trying to do as much as he could. But I'm here specifically as the Bronx chair at Transportation Alternatives, and we try to lead campaigns and lead the policy discussion around all forms of movement and sustainability. And so the Bronx committee, we really try to hit all corners of the borough. We have 3 major campaigns in the West Bronx, in the Northwest Bronx, and partially in the Central Bronx. But it's been one of our priorities to really make inroads in the East Bronx for many different reasons. And also aside from that, much of my circle and experiences in the government world, work on policy and legislation, big history and policy nerd. So a lot of that is in land use. So if people have any questions, issues with the waterfront, that's been something we've been really trying to work hard on. Or even just how you can make the best use of a park, get funding for something like rehabilitation of properties, anything like that, or economic development. We're trying to really be helpful uptown. And I also do historic tours, shameless plug. So come down to Mount Haven anytime, and I'll try to make an effort to be more present up in the area. So John, I mean, if there's any like way to subscribe, anything like that. But yeah, we're always open to help however we could.
Dan, I think you had a question.
Two independent things, Cecil. One, City Island Rising publicly is for a ferry to City Island. So you spoke about waterfront. If you could, or some of us could reach out to you about helping us make that happen. Any help would be super positive. 2, can we get more bike racks? I know I've brought it up to several people, and a lot of people have said yes, and they're willing, and then it doesn't happen. So if we could work on that, that would be awesome, because a lot of people bike to City Island, and I think it would help the economics of City Island if people could then park the bikes in front of the shops, lock them up, and come inside.
Cecil, I want to totally back up what Dan just said. And we do actually have a request in for Dan and for another location that DOT has. It's been something with a vendor. I think you guys have actually covered it a little bit, that there's something with the bike rack vendors or whatever. But anything we could do to push that, we are 100%, more for bike racks.
Yeah, one thing, oh, sorry.
Hold on, Dan is muted, but he has something to say. So I want to give him the opportunity to respond to that.
Sorry, even if we can have permission to put in a bike rack, I would fund a bike rack or put in a bike rack if we're allowed to. I just, building department complaints are an issue, so I'd like to do it properly.
There we go. Cecil, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely marking all those things down. I don't know exactly who this group has been interfacing with at DOT, but something I didn't know until recently, DOT is structured like very differently from other agencies. There's no like division by borough. There's not even a division by like type of policy. It's more by like trade, a lot of engineers, a lot of urban planners. So there's one person or like 3 people who focus only on bike policy. So even people like engineers who work on bike lanes and do planning, if you talk about actual structures like bike racks, which the city just got funding for, by the way, so got to hit them really hard so you can make sure like City Island is represented. But any like even engineers do nothing with bike racks. You have to get the specific bike rack person. I think that is Jesse Cabrera and Lily Thompson, but I can connect like whoever here directly to them. But yeah, DOT is really specific, really technocratic.
That would be
no,
really
we would love that. Yeah. I mean, anything to get more bike racks. I think we're all in agreement on totally. And let's do that. Did anyone else have a question for Cecil, or did anyone else? This is kind of the last call of the evening. Kevin, thank you for the information you shared. And also I wanted to bring up again, we have our ranked choice voting event next week that Louisa from our team has put in a super, a lot of work into and getting it all arranged. So it is Tuesday, February 16th at 6 p.m. And we're going to have people from the Campaign Financer Board on to talk about ranked choice voting. And if you would like to obviously, be a part of that, I put it in the chat here, but it's bit.ly/CIR ranked choice voting, all one word. You put that into your browser, you can register for ranked choice voting, and we will have someone from Campaign Finance Board that Louisa has arranged to, she actually just put it in the chat, so you don't need to scroll all the way up like I just had to do, to answer your questions about how it's going to work and how you can prioritize your ballot. Remember, we have the mayoral race, which is, 100 candidates probably, and that might be an understatement. We have a borough president's race. We have a city comptroller's race. We have a city council race. All those city positions are going to be ranked choice. So it's very important that you are aware of how that system works before you go to vote. And we're not picking candidates or sides. We're just teaching you how to empower yourselves. So very important to get that out there. Having seen there's no questions in the chat, I just, last call. If anyone has anything, state it now. 1, 2, 3. I want to thank everybody for coming out to this meeting. This was awesome and wonderful and so many knowledgeable, great guests. So thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Take care.